Good evening, I'm Jacob Murray, and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. Governor Mike DeWine joined local and federal partners as up to 1,500 Ohioans were vaccinated during the Wolstein Center Mass Vaccination Clinic in Cleveland. DeWine explained his desire for people in every community to be able to get the vaccine.
We wanted people in the smaller counties. We wanted people in every community to have the ability to get a vaccination within their community. We have done that. But our plan all along has been to build from there, just like you're building a house, and to build up to mass vaccination sites that would complement but not replace what is going on.
Ohio is again rolling back its COVID-19 vaccination priority system. Governor Mike DeWine announced Tuesday the vaccine will be open to everyone who's at least 16 years old. That starts March 29th, a little more a week after residents 40 and over became eligible Friday. The move comes as Ohio prepares to receive 400,000 doses next week, with a significant increase expected after that. So far, nearly 2.5 million vaccines have been administered in Ohio.
So that everyone can plan. We are also announcing today that beginning on March 29th, every Ohioan will be eligible. That's all Ohioans age 16 years of age and older.
This announcement effectively opens the vaccine to everyone. However, no vaccine has been approved yet for people under 16 years old. And now here's Ben Byers with weather.
Well, it certainly has been a warm and sunny St. Patrick's Day. Right now in Athens, 66 degrees, partly cloudy with humidity not too high, only 45%, and winds too not too strong. The big temperature map for right now, as we can see, all of our areas in the 60s. 69 in Ripley is your high, and 62 is the lower side Columbus, but still overall all pretty warm in our southeastern area. Tonight in Athens, 52 degrees. Sadly, that rain is going to come in with a chance of precipitation of 95%. So it will be a rainy night tonight. The big temperature map for tonight, 49 in Cambridge is your low, and 56 in Ironton is on the little higher end, but overall just a cooler night tonight. A severe storm for tomorrow, hail damaging winds and thunderstorms possible, but I'll talk more about that. And back to you.
Thank you very much. Two deputies in the Corrections Division of the Ross County Sheriff's Office were dismissed due to fraternization with inmates. Deputies Sarah Smith and Ashley Foster were dismissed after an investigation led to findings that the two deputies were violating the code of ethics for jail employees. The jail administrator for the Ross County Sheriff's Department, Mayor William White, said that they had received information about an employee who had been in communication with an inmate outside of their scope of duties. This original information allowed White to discover that Foster was communicating with a separate inmate in a similar manner, according to the Chillicothe Gazette. No evidence that was found suggests either of the two employees ever engaged in any other unethical behavior. Foster and Smith were served letters by Sheriff Lavender on March 4th and 5th, respectively, dismissing them from probationary employment. An Ohio activist has pleaded not guilty to federal charges of having spent for personal use some $200,000 in donations to what was represented as a Black Lives Matter charity. The Toledo Blade reports 32-year-old Sir Major Page, also known as Tyrese Connors Page, pleaded not guilty today to money laundering and wire fraud counts. Page said in a statement he did not intentionally commit any crimes, and he wasn't surprised the government wasn't proceeding with a criminal case against a social justice activist like himself. Republican attorneys general from 21 states, including Ohio and West Virginia, are questioning a provision in the $1.9 trillion pandemic rescue plan. The provisions in question bar states from using its funds to offset tax cuts. The 21 individuals wrote in a letter to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Monday in which they stated the prohibition is unclear. Republican states are concerned any tax cut could be jeopardized if it is construed as taking advantage of pandemic relief funds. The White House says it expects the relief funds to not go towards decreasing taxes. West Virginia is dealing with another health-related issue on top of COVID-19, a spike in HIV cases related to intravenous drug use. The surge is attributed at least in part to the cancellation of a needle exchange program in the county where the capital city of Charleston is located. Needle exchanges offer clean syringes to injection drug users who have not been able to quit the habit. Critics of the program claim they don't do enough to prevent or stop drug misuse. And sticking with West Virginia health concerns, we turn to a more positive development in the state. U.S. Senator Joe Manchin introduced a new bill aimed toward helping families of minors who died due to black lung disease, which is caused by inhaling coal dust. The bill would lift some burdens off families who currently need to provide proof that black lung disease was the substantial contributing cause of death in order to access benefits. The benefits themselves were established in a 19-72 law and are required to be paid out by coal mining companies or the Black Lung Disability Trust Fund. 2 men were arrested yesterday after Huntington police seized more than $250,000 worth of suspected heroin and fentanyl. 31-year-old James Pace and 19-year-old Ian Justice were both arrested. WSAZ reports Pace was arrested on a federal revocation after he was seen leaving the home where police executed a search warrant. Justice was charged with possession with an intent to deliver after he tried to run away from police. Along with the suspected drugs, police seized digital scales, 3 guns, and drug contraband. See how the nation is reacting to the recent repealing of COVID-19 regulations. And Michigan nurse has been accused of stealing COVID-19 vaccines. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Many call her writing Southern Gothic. Flannery O'Connor.
I feel that the grotesque quality of my own work is that I'm a Southern and a Catholic writer.
Flannery's writing is all about original sin, about the human condition. What a mess we are.
Flannery O'Connor's life could have come out of a Flannery O'Connor story.
For the storied life of the writer from Georgia, look for Flannery
To reveal a mystery.
on American Masters.
Anywhere you look, so much has happened.
You know the truth can be a weapon.
You're surrounded by your family again.
Could never turn back now.
I think I was born to shake things up.
Yeah.
I scare some people at competitions.
I feel like you're making history.
There's lots of people who could bring down the house.
This is really, really important that we get to write our future.
This month in Passport on the PBS Video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
If I'm to make a name for myself, I need as much experience as possible.
Being a detective is a job for a man.
And yet you do it every day, William.
What we experienced is apocalyptic.
We're learning the lessons to not go through that again.
I'm Gustavo Dudamel. Join me in concert at the Hollywood Bowl.
These and other shows are available with Passport on the PBS Video app. Download it today.
In New Orleans, they use tradition to turn death into celebration.
The idea of the jazz funeral is to help the family.
This pandemic hit the Black community disproportionately.
In particular now, a funeral director has to think out of the box in order to survive.
People talk about first responders, but we in the funeral industry, we are last responders.
We have a job to do. Death is our business.
Tune in or stream starting March 23rd, 10, 9 Central, only on PBS.
For many Americans, last St. Patrick's Day might have been the last celebration before lockdowns due to COVID-19. And today, with more states easing COVID restrictions, there's renewed fear about rapidly spreading variants during the holiday. This as Congress holds a hearing asking national health experts about efforts to vaccinate the American public. Nadia Romero has the latest from Washington.
A small group marched in a largely virtual celebration of the world's biggest St. Patrick's Day parade in New York City. A pop of green outside the White House comes with a firm message from the Biden administration discouraging large gatherings.
Masks, distancing, avoiding congregate settings, and washing of hands.
The latest data from Johns Hopkins University shows COVID-19 cases at least 10% higher than last week in 15 states. But still, overall numbers are down in the country. The same data shows at least 10% of the adult population fully vaccinated in all states, despite vaccine shortages.
We're working through that supply constraint, and I think in the weeks ahead, that supply constraint will diminish. And then we're really going to need to do the hard work, as you know, to work towards getting vaccine in places that it hasn't touched yet.
The House holding a hearing asking Biden administration health experts about vaccine distribution. One lawmaker on that House committee, Dr. Raul Ruiz, frustrated by challenges.
The greatest factor in those communities is not whether or not they want the vaccine, it's the systemic barriers that exist where you have very few doctors, very few clinics, and you have decreased resources.
And now a rush to get shots in arms as COVID-19 variants spread. With St. Patrick's Day and spring break bringing out the crowds, Fauci calling variant spread one of the most concerning developments in the pandemic. In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
As more and more states begin to lift their COVID restrictions, many, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, are calling those decisions risky and dangerous. A nurse in Detroit is expected to be arraigned on Wednesday. She's accused of trying to steal COVID vaccines. Sadia Elahi is facing larceny charges after the incident at the TCF Center vaccination site. As Sean Lay reports, officials say she was caught in the act.
Like a shoplifter. To my understanding, she picked up 2 syringes and tried to put them in her pocket.
A shocker from inside Detroit's drive-through vaccination clinic. A nurse working for a contractor hired to give the vaccine to Detroiters, the city says, caught red-handed when nurses watched her take 2 syringes of the Pfizer vaccine and put them in her pocket. Other nurses saw it, they reported it, and she was arrested by DPD right on the spot. Detroit Chief Operating Officer overseeing the entire TCF vaccination process tells us every person working there sees and knows just how carefully the vaccine is guarded.
Our vaccines are stored in a secure location. They escorted to the facility in a secure method. Even when we deliver the syringes out to the nurses station, they are accompanied by a security guard, and we account for every syringe that is administered out.
And never did anyone think someone would try to steal COVID-19 vaccine.
We were extremely shocked that someone attempted to do that. I mean, the floor is surrounded by police officers and security and cameras everywhere. They know we account for every dose. We account for even if there was a bad syringe or if it was dropped on the floor. Those are returned back to the pharmacy so we can account for it. So I was really astonished by that behavior.
Berry told the Detroit Free Press that the vaccine shots in question were seized by police and that everyone who came to the site on Monday was able to get a vaccine. Take a live look at the trial proceedings of former Minneapolis police officer Jarek Chauvin, and that story is still ahead.
And it certainly has been a warm and sunny St. Patrick's Day, but tomorrow things will change. Find out next on my full weather forecast, but first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
All you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know.
We've been thinking about Hemingway for literally decades. You have someone who is often considered the greatest American novelist and has an outsized life.
It's hard to think of a subject that's more iconic than Ernest Hemingway.
Within a few sentences of reading a Hemingway story, you were not in any confusion as to who had written it.
Hemingway can be read as he wanted it to be by ordinary folks, and yet beneath it is as deep an exploration of art and the human experiences that is just miraculous to me.
He was always questing. The perfect line had not happened yet. It was always a struggle, trying to get it right, and you never will.
He's this big game hunter. He's a deep-sea fisherman. He's this lover. He's a man's man. And all of that was true, but it wasn't completely true.
The way into understanding him is through his relationships with the women in his life. His mother, his sisters, and then the 4 women who he married in succession over the next 40 years of his life.
Ernest and I, really, are afraid of each other, each one knowing that the other is the most violent person either one knows.
In working on the film and delving more deeply into his demons and his struggles, how much his work mattered to him, I came to have a much deeper appreciation for the real Ernest Hemingway.
finding out more about him was revelatory and shocking, and at some point you just kind of had to check everything you thought you believed and begin again. We were just not prepared for how complex the story was going to be.
I hope you're having an amazing St. Patrick's Day. I'm your forecaster, Benjamin Byers. Let's take a look at the satellite image right now. As we can see, there is a pretty good amount of cloud coverage in our area, and that we can see as a theme tonight. Right now in Athens, 66 degrees, partly cloudy, humidity not too high, and winds not too strong either. So if you're out right now celebrating St. Patrick's Day, it should be good weather no matter where you are in the area. For the big temperature map, as we can see, all in the 60s, 69 in Ripley is your high, and 62 in Columbus is on the lower side, but again, sunny and warm all throughout our area today. For tonight, though, we see a change with 52 degrees, but that rain will come in with a chance of precipitation of 95%. So if you're still out and partying, make sure to bring an umbrella or something to help you fight the rain. For 52 degrees, again, it will be rain with a chance of, for the big temperature map, 51 in Newark, 56 in Ironton, and again, rain throughout our area. 49 in Cambridge is your low, 56 is your higher end in Ironton. So again, it'll be a little on the cooler side, but still not too cold. Hour by hour for tonight, 8 p.m. 61 degrees, 10 p.m. 56 degrees, and 12 a.m. 54 degrees. And still very, we will see a decrease in the temperature as we head into the night, but that rain, when we get to 12 a.m., will come in with a 48% chance of rain. And tomorrow, we also see the severe storm for tomorrow. You can expect some areas in our southeastern area to experience hail, damaging winds, and thunderstorms are definitely possible for Athens. As we can see in this map, we are definitely in the area of the slight risk of thunderstorms. We're not in the worst of areas, but we should still expect to see a thunderstorm or two. And here in the surface map, we can see the weather, the storm pushing through our area, which will bring rain in those storms. Tomorrow in Athens, 66 degrees, and again, thunderstorms likely with winds on the higher end, 10 to 15 miles per hour. And we can see, at least it'll be a warmer day like we see today, 66 in Athens, 70 in Ripley, 55 in Newark, and 55 in Columbus. And as we can see, the 7-day forecast for the week ahead, tomorrow, again, a thunderstorm, but Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we see sunny days, but Wednesday, at the end of our week, we will see rain again with a 34% chance. But still, a warmer week is ahead for us. And back to you.
Thank you, Ben. The judge in the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin dismissed 2 jurors on Wednesday. Chauvin is on trial for his role in the death of George Floyd last May. The former officer has pleaded not guilty to charges of 3rd-degree murder, 2nd-degree unintentional murder, and 2nd-degree manslaughter. Jury selection in the case began on March 9th and continued Wednesday after the judge dismissed the 2 already seated jurors. The jurors said they had been swayed by news of a $27 million civil settlement between the city of Minneapolis and the Floyd family.
We did accept you as a juror, but do you think now with this new information it would be hard to presume the defendant innocent, would hard to be impartial in this case?
The Atlanta Police Department charges Tuesday spa shooting suspect with 4 counts of murder. That means Robert Long is now facing a total of 8 counts of murder and a single count of aggravated assault. The 21-year-old is accused of firing a weapon at 3 spas, 2 in the city of Atlanta and 1 in an Atlanta suburb. 8 people, including 6 Asian women, were killed in the shooting. Cherokee County Authorities say Long might have a sexual addiction issues and possibly entered those spas previously. According to a law enforcement source, Long was kicked out of his family's house recently. Authorities have not given a motive for the shootings. They have not determined if these will be considered hate crimes. During a press conference in Dallas, Texas Governor Greg Abbott blamed the Biden administration for what he called an immigration crisis, citing Biden's open border policy and the administration's inability to provide answers for the perceived issues.
These sites are a direct result of President Biden's reckless open border policies that are causing a surge in border crossings and cartel activity. The administration has yet to provide answers that Texans deserve.
Following Abbott's comments, a group of Republican senators signed a letter asking the Government Accountability Office to review President Joe Biden's suspension of border wall construction. West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito penned the letter. 39 GOP colleagues signed it, including Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell and Senator Richard Shelby, who is the ranking member of the Senate Appropriations Committee. The letter points out Biden stopped border wall construction and froze congressional funds appropriated to build it in January. It goes on to blame those actions for the current influx of migrants and unoccupied minors crossing the U.S.-Mexico border.
Good evening, everybody. Well, another week, another postseason honor for CC Hooks, and this one's the first for an Ohio player since the 1980s. Find out more later on. And the Ohio men's basketball team hoisted the MAC tournament trophy this past weekend. Find out what's next for the Bobcats coming up after the break on Newswatch. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, we're revisiting Derby City to see which values have kept pace in the marketplace.
This is by far the best baseball I've ever seen on the roadshow.
That's nice. Oh my gosh.
Kidding, right? No, I'm not kidding.
Think you know which treasures are still ahead of the pack? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Louisville Hour 1.
I am an algorithm. I am listening. I am making predictions for your life right now.
I tested facial analysis systems. What does it mean to be in a society where artificial intelligence is governing liberties? Don't push me out where we're at a moment where technology is highly susceptible to bias and there are no safeguards.
In New Orleans, they use tradition to turn death into celebration.
The idea of the jazz funeral is to help the family.
This pandemic hit the Black community disproportionately.
In particular now, a funeral director has to think out of the box in order to survive.
People talk about first responders, but we in the funeral industry, we are last responders.
We have a job to do. Death is our business.
Tune in or stream starting March 23rd, 10, 9 Central, only on PBS.
Many call her writing Southern Gothic. Flannery O'Connor.
I feel that the grotesque quality of my own work is that I'm a Southern and a Catholic writer.
Flannery's writing is all about original sin, about the human condition. What a mess we are.
Flannery O'Connor's life could have come out of a Flannery O'Connor story.
For the storied life of the writer from Georgia, look for Flannery.
To reveal a mystery.
On American Masters.
Welcome back, I'm Brian Kerp. Grab your dancing shoes. The Ohio men's basketball team is going dancing at the NCAA tournament. Ohio entered last week's MAC tournament as the number 5 seed and was underdog in all 3 games it played. So how does Ohio respond with no current players having no experience in Cleveland? Complete domination. The Bobcats ran through Kent State, Toledo, and then on Saturday night, the Buffalo Bulls. Jason Preston was incredible all week and was named MAC tournament most valuable player for the first time since 2012. Ohio is going dancing.
Unbelievable performance by our guys. Proud coach. I know we made a lot of people in Bobcat Nation, happy. And when you recruit high character guys, guys who love each other, that play at a school that they love and play the game that they love, special things happen. And this group is going to have a memory of a lifetime now.
In just his second season, Jeff Bowles is leading the Bobcats to the NCAA tournament. Ohio is the 13th seed in the West region and will face the 4th seed Virginia on Saturday at 7:15 at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. The Cavaliers are currently not in Indianapolis as they are still quarantining. The earliest they can travel is on Friday. CC Hooks is continuing to rack up the accolades after producing one of the best individual seasons in Ohio women's basketball history. Earlier today, Hooks was named an AP All-American. Hooks is Ohio's first All-American since Caroline Mast was named back in 1986. The senior was also named MAC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year prior to last week's tournament. But Hooks isn't done yet this season. After falling into MAC semifinals, the Bobcats accepted an invite to the women's NIT. Ohio will open up its tournament against Clemson in the Charlotte region. The Bobcats last appeared at WNIT in 2019 where they advanced to the round of 8. Tip-off between Ohio and Clemson is set for 2 p.m. on Friday from Bojangles Coliseum. It certainly hasn't been the best of seasons for Ohio Bobcats hockey, but yesterday Ohio showed no mercy as it welcomed Mercyhurst to Bird Arena. And the Bobcats wasted no time getting on the scoreboard. Just 26 seconds in, JT Schmizzy buries one into net with the wrister, putting Ohio up. And just as his goal is being announced over the PA system, Aiden Greco rips one past the goalie to light up the lamp. Again, 2 goals for Ohio in the first minute, 7 goals in the first period. Then Drew Magyar finishes off his hat trick in the third. All Ohio in this one, 11-0 Bobcats the final.
Yeah, it's maybe not the most intense game we've played all year, but good to get a couple goals in the back of the net. It's certainly tough when you play Lindenwood, Liberty, and Adrian, and you're not going to have an 11-0 night.
Well, we might as well call the Ohio volleyball team the Comeback Cats. Last night, the Bobcats trailed at Kent State after 2 sets, but didn't go away. Ohio dominated Kent State in the third set 25-15 and then forced the 5th set with a 25-20 win. In that 5th set, the Bobcats secured the match win with a 15-11 victory. Lauren Park led Ohio with 17 kills. The Bobcats are currently in action at the Convo against Toledo. For post-match content, be sure to visit woub.org/sports. I'm Brian Kerp, and that's all I got for sports. Back over to you, Jacob.
Thank you, Brian. Well, the White House has added a little pop of green to its prestigious property in honor of St. Patrick's Day. The water in the fountain on the White House's north lawn was dyed green today. It happens every year to commemorate the cultural celebration. President Biden will take part in several events in honor of the day. First, he attended a St. Patrick's Day Mass at his church in Wilmington, Delaware. He will also hold a virtual meeting with Ireland's Prime Minister and take part in a traditional Shamrock Bowl ceremony.
And taking a look at the forecast for tomorrow in Athens, 66 degrees and thunderstorms are likely, so be careful if you're out and about for tomorrow. With a chance of precipitation 87%, make sure you do not forget your umbrella. For the severe thunderstorm for tomorrow, some areas can expect hail, damaging winds, but thunderstorms are definitely possible. So again, be extremely safe if you're out and about. For the 7-day forecast ahead, for Thursday, we can see the thunderstorms, 87% precipitation. Wednesday, we can also see some rain at the end of our week, 34% chance. But Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, sunny and warm. 58 on Saturday, Sunday 64, and Monday 67. Tuesday is the only day Tuesday and Friday we are expected to see some clouds. And back to you, Jacob.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Jacob Murray. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find out the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night and a great St. Patrick's Day.
Support comes from Hocking Valley Bank, offering mortgage loans or refinancing on an existing home, making it easy for dreams to become a reality. Hocking Valley Bank, we know loans. Support comes from GOLDSBERRY Wealth